What's up, everybody? I know this is football Friday, so to speak, and I'm all Phillied out here in my Phillies gear. But that's just because I feel a little nostalgic with the passing of Kim Batiste and, the anniversary of Roy Halladay's no hitter in the playoffs, if you guys remember. So there's a couple things that making me feel a little special today as we get ready for this battle of PA this weekend. So just wanted to check in today, and I apologize. Sometimes my allergies are through the roof today. So if you hear me sniffle my nose a little bit here or there, it's a struggle. It's absolutely a struggle, but I'm going to do my best to get through this, obviously, and talk a little football here on a Friday. And this has a chance to be a very interesting game. I mean, we can start this off right off the bat, man. We're talking Phillies. We're talking Eagles, talking Steelers, and right off the bat, we have to think about what this team is going to look like. Did they build on what they did last year, right? And that's the thing. Did they build on what they did last week, or are they going to revert back? And I think that's one of the biggest issues that we have is what should we expect from this team, right? What should we expect from this team? And once we're able to figure that out, as long as we allow Carson to continue to be Carson, right? And Carson wasn't great. I completely understand that. And for everybody that says he was, you're wrong, right? You're wrong. He wasn't great, but he was good. He was good enough. And that's kind of what we need him to be. We need him to be good enough. And this isn't a Pittsburgh team that's going to light a fire, man. It's not. I mean, here's the thing: the Pittsburgh Steelers obviously have 3 wins, right? But they've come not from the ability of blowing teams out. I mean, they have a really good defense. I think that's what we have to be afraid of. We have to be afraid of that linebacker core. We have to be afraid of that secondary. They still have guys like Micah Fitzpatrick back there and Joe Hayden at his age. These guys are still balling out. So these are the things that we have to look at. And these are the things that Carson has to look at, where Jordan Mailata gets to start left tackle again. I absolutely love it. I think that he played very well. And I think he's going to play well again. And it's a big deal for him. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for the Eagles, knowing what they have on that line, right? Lane Johnson isn't 100%, right? He's not. So that's another thing that we have to look at. Again, the wide receiver position is going to be very, very scarce. Right? Very scarce. I mean, we're talking about John Hightower again, Travis Fulgham. I mean, this is what we're talking about. That way, Greg Ward, who definitely will be the guy to take this team, leading in targets. And I want to mention something about Zach Ertz. A lot of people were upset about Zach Ertz. They said he wasn't involved, this and that. I want you guys to remember something. Remember that they're decimated on the offensive line. Okay, and because they're decimated on the offensive line, Zach Ertz is going to be held in to block, right? That's one of the biggest things. So he's going to be held in the block a lot more than he's used to. Okay, and because of that is why you're starting to see he's not getting the amount of targets that he's used to getting, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. It's very easy, to be honest with you. So at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a game where we see the offense kind of build on the blocks that they stumbled on last week. And this is going to be about Doug. This is going to be about Doug. Is Doug going to be, is he going to revert back? Or is he going to allow his quarterback to play? Is he going to allow his quarterback to take audibles at the line? Because I think that's one of the biggest things that we've seen. We've seen the audibles from the line. And we seen Carson with the kill matrix. I mean, that's what we've loved about Carson Wentz, right? That's one of the biggest things that we've loved about Carson Wentz that we weren't seeing. We weren't seeing it, and that was concerning to me. That was one of the biggest things when we talked about regression. Okay, and I get it. Listen, everybody right away thinks you're a hater when you start talking about Carson, right? Everybody thinks you're a hater. No, it has nothing to do with that. You know what it has to do with? It has to do with looking at it as a realist and saying, what is going on with Carson Wentz? What is he doing that's different? And I think we all knew what he was doing that was different. He was playing scared a little bit, right? He was. And I'm not saying he was playing scared because of injury. I think he was playing scared to be himself, right? Because this coaching staff was consistently telling him that he had to reinvent his game. They were consistently telling him he can't be that running quarterback, right? He can't be the guy to get out because he's going to get hurt. And that's what everybody kept saying. So when it comes down to it, I think the Eagles are going to have a tough time in Pittsburgh against this team. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see who Darius Slay is going to be covering because they do have two talented receivers out there. They actually have more than that. Don't sleep on James Washington. Don't sleep on Chase Claypool. I mean, these kids, they can fly. Okay, you have to deal with James Conner in a backfield. Okay, you have to deal with Benny Snell, who could come in and be very, very serviceable. And then you have Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson as well. And Big Ben, even at 38 years old, Big Ben is still slinging it. So we're going to need a really good game on the defensive line. Again, the defensive line pressure that we have seen in the fourth quarter of the last three games is going to have to be for all four quarters. And I'm going to call somebody out here. Fletcher Cox, man. Fletcher Cox, excuse me. Like I said, my nose is running like crazy. I actually have my hat down a little bit because it's actually red because I've been blowing it so much. But Fletcher Cox needs to be Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox needs to be the guy who got paid. Fletcher Cox needs to be the guy that was complaining that why wasn't he getting paid like Aaron Donald? Well, listen, when you want to get paid like Aaron Donald, you need to start blowing things up a little bit. And I'm sorry, Fletch. I don't want to hear about the double teams. I don't want to hear about everything, right? What's up, Trevor? How you doing, buddy? Football Friday, man. Get ready for this big game. And again, the thing with Fletcher Cox for me is he needs to take over. He needs to be that guy. And I think this week is when he needs to step into that because you have to get the Ben. You cannot allow Ben 5 to 7 seconds back there. You can't allow him to just scope out the defense. I'm not worried about whoever Darius Slay is covered because Darius Slay is going to lock down whoever he's on. Did you see the numbers that I put out yesterday? I mean, how good is Darius Slay? Wow. I mean, unbelievable. But I mean, we talked about that yesterday on the judgment. So today we're talking more of previewing the game. And I want to get into some other games as well. Like, what other games are you guys looking at? Because I think there's a lot of interesting games this weekend. A lot. I mean, did you see the Cowboys' problem with the line? Exactly, man. The Cowboy, Trev, I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys. I don't. I mean, weren't we just talking a couple years ago about how unbelievable that line was? I mean, that's the crazy thing. I mean, we were just talking about that. You can't tell me that, Leroy Collins is the end all be all of that line because he's not playing. I mean, we're talking about guys like Zach Martin who just aren't playing up to potential, man. It's just really, really crazy, man. Slay, I see on Juju or Johnson. Absolutely. I think he's going to be more on Juju, even though I think Deontay is the better receiver right now. I think he'll be moving around a lot. Yeah, Trev, I was just going to talk about that. The Browns Colts games looks entertaining. I mean, here's a Colts team who has given up less than 12 points in the last 3 weeks per game, less than 12. Okay, their defense is balling right now. And then on the flip side with the Browns, you have a team who looks like they finally figured out Kevin Stefanski's system. They finally have bought in to what he's been preaching. And it took a couple games. I mean, listen, they scored 49 points. Baker Mayfield only threw for 150 plus yards. Okay, that's impressive. That's impressive. That's showing a team that knows how to utilize their skill sets and their talents, right? That's exactly what that's showing. So I think this is a thing with Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's going to go off in this game. I'm telling you that right now. Kareem Hunt is going to go off. He's going to have one of those games he had in 2018. You fantasy lovers out there, get him in the lineup, get him in there. Absolutely, he is the lock at the running back position for my money. That's who I'm starting because I think, listen, he gets the ball 25, 28 times, and he is going to do so much for that team. And OBJ, I think, continues to build on what he was. Listen, OBJ, phenomenal athlete. Phenomenal athlete, not just a football player, phenomenal athlete. So when you talk about guys like Odell Beckham Jr., he finally found out that you can use him in a different way than just being a wide receiver. He can be all over the field. Trev says I'm in the area of Connecticut where I'm not getting that's crazy. Well, here's the thing, though. The Jets-Cardinals game, we don't even know if that's going to happen, right? Because as of a half hour ago, the Jets were all sent home because somebody tested positive for COVID. So we don't even know what's going there. They haven't even traveled yet. So that's a very fluid situation. We'd be getting another game during the week next week and not on Sunday. So, Trev, you may be in luck. You never know. Andre checking in. Yes, so what's up, Andre? How you doing, buddy? Get ready for this. It's Football Friday here. Jigsaw's jobs. We get ready for this battle of PA. Get ready for the NFL. Which I can't wait. My schedule works out better than I could have hoped. I have a soccer tournament this weekend, but all the games are perfect. Most of the games are on Saturday. I'll be able to do my Saturday spot at 10:30 on This Week in Football on the Gambler, Fox Sports Gambler. Tune in 10:30. We're talking a little fantasy. Sunday service, Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Join me right on the Gambler Twitter page where we'll be going live talking fantasy for a half hour. And then I have a soccer game at 11, and then I get right back. Right, I get right back at 1:00, which is perfect. Just get ready. If you like points, he says Panthers Falcons. What's odd to me, Trev, and this is crazy because we were just talking about this on the Sports Guy Mike show, that the Atlanta Falcons at 0-4 are favored over the Panthers at 2-2. I know it's only a point and a half, but still, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I think the Panthers lose this game. I think the Falcons win outright, to be honest with you. I think this is Dan Quinn's swan song to say, I got to say my job. I think, Arthur Blank over a little Chick-fil-A lunch inside the Mercedes Dome over there out there in Atlanta was like, yo, listen, you need to win this game, man. Well, I think this is going to be a big Atlanta win because I think Carolina's defense is trash. Andre, yes, sir. Stars and moons are lined up for me. Yeah, thank God, man. Thank God. I mean, like I said, my allergies are kicking my ass right now, but as long as they calm down for this weekend, I will be set. Actually, Andre, you say huge game for Julio. You know who else? I think Todd Gurley has a monster game. Everybody has to remember that the Carolina defense, when we talk about rushing, they are the leaders in giving up rushing touchdowns to running backs. After 4 weeks, they've given up 8. So this is a team that knows how to let guys in the end zone. So I really think that this is going to be a big week for Todd Gurley. Yeah, listen. Thomas Stern needs to be that Chick-fil-A meet with Dan Quinn. Listen, we're still trying to figure out how Dan Quinn keeps his job, right? We're still trying to figure that out, but it is what it is, right? Do you like Justin Herbert for yeah? I've been asked this question, Trev, so much because a lot of people are in the same predicament because you don't know what's going to go on. This, and this was my issue about standard fantasy versus DFS. And the reason why is because I can't change every week, right? I'm stuck with the guys I have. And with these COVID situations, you just don't know what's going to happen week to week. And you can really get screwed where you may not have no quarterbacks, right? And a lot of people drafted double, triple quarterbacks because they were afraid of this COVID situation. So it's very tough if you're in a traditional fantasy league. So here's the thing. Herbert goes out to New Orleans, they're 1-3 against a New Orleans team that's just starting to find their way again. It's Monday Night Football, but Herbert's been really good. He really has. And we're talking about a team in New Orleans whose defense gave up 28 points against the Detroit Lions. So it's not like they're setting the world on fire out there. And that was supposed to be, their strong point. I mean, I remember on this show, I specifically started giving props to Dennis Allen, a guy who's not talked about enough, their defensive coordinator. And they kind of just shit the bed, so to speak, over the last couple of weeks. So I'm not sure what defense is going to show up, for the New Orleans Saints. But I'll tell you what, I would really think about it because I think, Justin Herbert's averaging 22, 23 fantasy points per game, depending on what kind of scoring format you do. Especially like in my format, I'm doing 1 point per every 20 yards. Some people are doing it 1 point per every 25. So if you're doing that, you're doing 6 points per touchdown, not 4 points like some leagues do. I think Herbert is a really good play this week. I do, especially if you don't have anything to lose, right? That's one of the things. And I'll tell you what, on the flip side, if you need a quarterback, and I've said this, oh man, my nose is killing me. I'm sorry, boys. That's unbelievable. But on the flip side, think about this. Teddy Bridgewater, right? Teddy Bridgewater could be a great play this week against that horrific Atlanta defense. So, like you said, Trav, a lot of points going to be scored in that game, right? So, I mean, that could be a really good play if you need a quarterback. So, there's so many different analogies, setting up for this weekend, and some really, really good games, man. Like seriously, some really, really good games. I mean, some big lines too. I mean, you're talking about a plus 11. Right, you're talking about the Raiders getting 11 against the Chiefs. You're talking about the Ravens giving 12 to the Bengals. I'll tell you what, if you watch the Bengals play, they know how to score, man. And how to score. Joe Burrow, nasal spray you need. I've already done that, man. I've done that. I took my allergy pill, but the problem is it just flared up on me probably like 2 hours ago. So I got to get through the first part of the day and then it'll calm down. And I went outside this morning. I took my son somewhere and my car was covered in pollen. And I was like, oh, here we go. I know what's going to happen. And it did. It did not last. Excuse me. It did not last long. Trev, how about Nick Foles and Brady not shaking hands again? Some people make a lot more out of this than I do. Honestly, listen, man, if you don't want to shake hands, you don't have to shake hands, man. It's all, and again, these are professional athletes. I teach my kids to be good sports and have tremendous sportsmanship. I do. But we're talking about grown men. We're talking about Brady. Listen, Brady's mad, man. Brady's not mad at Nick Foles. Brady's mad. He's embarrassed, right? That man running off the field yesterday was embarrassed that he forgot that it was 4th down and not 3rd. So I can give it to Tom, man. You can say what you want, but that was more about Tom than it was about Nick. Honestly, don't worry about those allergies. Keep pushing through. Oh man, let me tell you something. I just did a show before this, and I couldn't even do the video. I had to put my avatar up there because I had tissues just stuffed up my nose, bro. I couldn't even. It was a sad sight. So I'm pushing through. I'll get there. I'm pushing through. It'll be good. But not a lot of good games this weekend. Lot of things to talk about with Houston get on a winning track now that no Bill O'Brien or Romeo Crennel win his first game. How about the Cowboys giving 9 to the Giants? Man, I'll tell you what, the Giants have really surprised me, man. The Giants have really surprised. The Giants, I thought, were finding their way last year. I do. And I thought the Giants, under Danny Dimes, man, they have a lot of offensive weapons out there. You're talking, Evan Ingram was finally healthy. I understand that Saquon is hurt now, but still, I mean, with Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, I mean, they have a lot of good guys to throw to out there. Golden Tate when he comes back. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm surprised, but and Dallas looks like they can't stop anybody, right? That's the biggest thing. Their defense is terrible. Checking in, Bud Dupree says the Steelers really are the Lakers of football. That's a little odd to me. What would make you think of the Lakers of football? That's a little crazy. Like he thinks that their stature is that high in the NFL. I don't know about that. I mean, that's a little ridiculous if you ask me. I mean, Bud Dupree is one hell of a player, but that's an odd statement for me. For Bud Dupree, they do. But the Giants O line on the left this week, it is very weak, man, very weak. Yeah, exactly, Andre and Trev. What exactly, Trevor? I did not hear that. I'm shocked. Man, I'm shocked. Mr. interim coach Romeo Crennel. Listen, man, poor Romeo. Man, listen, all Romeo did was Romeo got the same praise that Matt Patricia did and Josh McDaniels did as well. It just didn't work out. It's okay, man. They got their payday. It's all good. Romeo Cornell is obviously a better coordinator than he is a head coach, right? Just like, again, it's probably just like Bill O'Brien. I mean, it's the same. It's the same ideal, right? It's just like Wade Phillips. It's just like Mike Martz. We've talked in nauseam about that on this show. So, I don't think it's Romeo's fault. I mean, if somebody comes to me, look at Steve Spagnuolo, same thing. I mean, he was freaking terrible for the Rams, absolutely terrible, right? When he's balling again for Kansas City, why? Because he's back home. He's a coordinator. He just has one thing to do. Some guys just can't handle it, man. I like Wade. Listen, I like Wade too. I think he did a lot of great things. He was one of the best defensive coordinators of all time, in my opinion, 100%. But not a head coach. Wade Phillips was not a head coach. It's the only thing. But hey, listen, man, he got a shot. Everybody deserves their shot. That's the thing. Deuce Staley deserves a shot. Eric Bieniemy deserves a shot. These guys deserve a shot to see what they can do. We're never ever going to find out if these guys can do it or not if we don't give them a shot, right? And there's some guys that maybe they don't want a shot. Maybe they want to stay where they're at. Who knows? Oh, man, look at it. There's a name. Tony Sparano. Oh, man, was he terrible out there in Miami, right? Tony Sparano, great offensive line coach, not head coach. I'll tell you what, we could do. I think we're going to do that. So what we're trying to do every week on the Heat Ratio is come up with different side topics, to get everybody involved. I think that's a good one. Best offensive and defensive coordinators, or we'll just say best offensive and defensive coaches that were not good head coaches that were definitely better, because there's a long list of those guys. One of them resides right here in Philadelphia, the one, the only Ray Rhodes. Ray Rhodes was a tremendous defensive coordinator and not a good head coach. So, listen, we got to, you know what I mean? We got a guy named Marty Morningway still stealing money on this team. So, talking about that, my favorite coach that had the good look sunglasses at night. Yeah, Sparano was always wearing the shades, man. Pretty funny. Absolutely. But another good game this weekend. When you look at it, I mean, the Vikings and the Seahawks, and I listen. I understand that the Vikings just get their first win, okay, but I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, a lot. The over and under is going at 57 right now. We got the Seahawks giving 7 to Minnesota, which I'm not hating that number at all. I think that Minnesota, for some reason, their defense just isn't it right now. They're still trying to find their way, which is odd under a Mike Zimmer-led team, because their defense was really good last year. So for them to kind of just, kind of crap the bed a little bit is sort of strange. And the Seahawks under Russell Wilson are absolutely balling, right? They're absolutely balling. So that's going to be a good game. And then, we touched on it when Trevor asked about Justin Herbert earlier, but I think that Chargers-Saints game, even though Saints are given 7.5, I think that could be a very good game. I think that could keep you intrigued and entertained the entire time. I really do. Trevor says 49ers could be it. Yes, that could be. I'm with you. I want to see Tua play. I definitely want to see Tua play. And it was kind of odd when Brian Flores came out this week and just said, listen, he's not ready. I don't understand that, man. I mean, the Dolphins stink, right? Put them in there. What else do you have to lose? I got a lot of flack on Twitter for saying that I was surprised that that Ron Rivera decided to bench Dwayne Haskins. And again, if you're a Washington football team, I'm sorry, but if you're the Washington football team, what are you winning? Like, what are you winning this year? And so many people are coming at me, go, oh, the NFC East is terrible. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What the hell does that matter? You're going to watch the football team. You stink, right? Well, what are you trying to do? Get into the playoffs as a wild card because you won a division at 7-9 and then get spanked in the first round? What is that doing for your confidence for Dwayne Haskins, right? And I'm not a Washington lover here or nothing, but I just don't understand the move. Colin Allen stinks too. He stinks too. What do you think? He's going to be the savior? You let the kid learn. Let him learn on the fly. This is where he learns. You got a really good, young running back in Antonio Gibson, right? You have some really young receivers Okay. And now you're going to go with a bench guy, in Kyle Allen. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't make sense. What's up, Ed? Talking about his career. What are we talking about here? Let me know what you mean. What his career? Um, be a quarterback coach. I don't want to see Alex Smith. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm intrigued at that. I would give him a standing ovation. Honestly, I would love to see Alex Smith take a snap this year. I would. Listen, I will say this. We could talk about this and all day long, but when you're a 35-year-old quarterback who is guaranteed money, right? Guaranteed money, and you have a severe injury like that, and you still go through the rehab, and you still go through, every excruciating moment of trying to get back on the field, dude, I will give you a standing ovation every single day of the week, man. Every single way, way of the week. So I just think that you know, a guy is an inspiration and he deserves to get on the field, man. He deserves to get on the field. Oh, my bad, Ed. Okay. You said play two. I got you now. What's he got to lose his career? What, because the offensive line of Miami blows? Yeah. Hey, maybe you saved them. Let them beat up Fitzmagic out there because that line is terrible. Even though I'd like to see Tua running around out there like Kyle Murray, so I'm kind of intrigued to see what he has. Washington was supposed to go 0-5 according to the schedule. They beat the Eagles, but the Eagles beat the Eagles in that game. That's true. Rivera's playing chess with his quarterbacks. Yeah, and Andre, I don't understand it. I mean, what are we trying to win in this chess match here, right? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, I understand that, you're trying to develop a team, but you're killing a kid's confidence at the same token, man. And I get it. A lot of people came to me and was like, oh, Dwayne wasn't his guy. You're right. Right. I get it. Ron Rivera did not draft Dwayne Haskins. He wanted a guy to come in, and Kyle Allen to try to be a guy he could go to if he faltered later, not right now after 4 games. I think it's ridiculous. I just think it's a bad move. It's a bad move and a bad look, in my opinion, for Ron Rivera. A little surprised he made it, but hey, listen, Ron's been around a long time, man. He's been around a long time. He knows what to do. So it's hard for me to doubt him. It is. But again, what about the Raiders and the Chiefs? I mean, the Chiefs given 11.5 to the Raiders. The Chiefs look like, again, New England always figures somebody out, right? Bill Belichick always takes away the top guy, always. And he did that. He took away Patrick Mahomes. Think about it, right? He took away Patrick Mahomes in that game. So, excuse me for a second. But yeah, I mean, he took away Patrick Mahomes, so that was a big deal. Trevor says, I'll say it. Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL stink. Even Riverboat Ron knows. Come on, man. What Troy Smith? No Troy Smith, man? Come on. Yeah, you could be right. Eddie says, I disagree about the Skins. I think winning the division helps. Yeah, I can see that. I do. I can see that. But let me ask you this. If you win a division with Kyle Allen, and I think we can both agree that Kyle Allen is not the answer. I don't know what that does for your young quarterback, right? Next year, do you come back with the same guy, or is basically, if you win a division like that, is the Haskins experiment completely done? I mean, do you just say, we're going to move on? I mean, that's the only thing I don't understand, but I agree with you. Winning division definitely helps build confidence among the team, 100%. Especially when you have the opportunity where it looks like nobody wants to win the division, right? So, I mean, I could see that. I could. I get that. I just don't know what that does for the quarterback scenario. That's the only thing that kind of sticks out to me. I think it's just hard to say. If you win the division, say Kyle Allen continues to play, and you win the division with Kyle Allen, you can't come back with Dwayne Haskins next year, right? So that I don't understand how that works, but I see your logic though, and I see your point definitely. But getting back to, something tells me, and I again, I understand. There's a reason why that the Chiefs are 11.5 point favorite, but something tells me that Grudog has got something up his sleeve out there, man. Something tells me that John Gruden is going to try and one up his former boss. Okay, because remember, Grudog was the offensive coordinator of Philadelphia, so under Andy Reid. So I would definitely love to see John Gruden stick it to him. Yeah, I like Big Red. I love Grudog. He's my favorite. Yo, Mikey V, what's up, buddy? Thanks for checking in, buddy. Yeah, I want to go talk a little free. I'll just get ready to say free agency because Trev's checking in saying NHL free agency has begun. But get a little football preview going on NFL for this week. Getting ready for the big weekend we have coming. Wayne Simmons signs a 1 year, $1.5 million deal with the lease. Now, for everybody that knows, I don't talk hockey much, right? So that's why my boy Trev's here. Right? Trevor is again, he's my go-to guy for hockey. He's always checking in, giving us the news for the Heat Ratio, which is great. Check him out, the Upper Bowl podcast as well. Him and his boys, Jordan. I forget the other guy's two names, but I know Jordan's one of them. Trevor, Jordan do a phenomenal job. Check them out. I think Trevor, what you just hit, Trevor, you had like 85 episodes already, right? I mean, so you're embarking on 100 as well. So that's a grind, man. 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if I see a couple fake punts. Yes, exactly, Andre. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised as well. I think Grudog pulls out all the stops, and I keep going back to. Did you see a couple weeks ago when Gruden, won? And him and Mike Mayock had that moment in the end zone, man. There's two guys who want to win, dude. That's two guys who want to win, and that's what's great. That's what's great. I love seeing that kind of that kind of energy, that kind of positivity, that kind of grit. That's why I love Gruden so much, because he wants to be on the field more than he wants to coach sometimes. Trevor says, if you want hockey, come down to the yes. Listen, if you want to talk hockey, 100% go check out the Upper Bowl podcast. It's on all your iTunes, Google Play. Yeah, that's right. Just have Barstool Jordy on this week, which was great, man. Go twice a week for football season, and it's 88. Right, I was close. I said 85, so 88. I was close. Oh, what's up? Well, coming late to the party, my man. I got the Eagles winning. No problem. Got the 31. Wow. 31-28. Yeah, let's talk scores here. We kind of went around the NFL. And again, by the way, if you guys do me a favor, check us out on all social platforms, right? Right here. You check it out. There you go, right here. I mean, it's simple as that. Go check us out. Okay, go check us out. We're on all social, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitter, at Heat Ratio Sports. All you got to type in. Hey, subscribe to us all. We're trying to bump the subscribers up on YouTube. We've had tremendous videos, so it's been really good. We have our boy Matt McCoy just joined the crew. He's doing some pre-draft videos talking about Trevor Lawrence this week, which is really cool. Never too early for that. So if you guys could check that out, I greatly appreciate it. But getting back, how many sacks for Watt this season? That's interesting. Yeah, that's I don't know, man. He's going to get one. He's definitely going to get one. Look at Andre. My man Andre, Heat Ratio Sports will be the biggest. Let's go. Listen, man, we are trying to build something great here. Seriously, man. I appreciate it all. If I said, screw it, man, I'm going all in, man. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Not that I just say nothing against nobody, but I'm tired. You say what you want. I'm tired. I'm confident. I'm not cocky, but God damn it, man. I deserve my own goddamn show. So it is what it is. So that's where I'm rolling right now. So I'm going all in. So I'm bringing everybody with me too. So hop on the Heat Ratio Sports. We're going to set the world on fire. Let's party, man. Got Will again 31-20. I don't know. Corner Steven Nelson Toast, Joe Hayden. Oh, that's interesting because I actually think Joe Hayden is balling a little bit. I do. I think he'll never be the Joe Hayden of old, right? But I think that he's kind of like. Who was the guy I'm trying to think of who was playing at a high level? Who was like 34 in Green Bay? It wasn't Tremaine Williams. Help me out, guys. You guys know who I'm talking about. But again, the guy was playing balling out till he was in his early 30s, and I think that's what Joe Hayden is as well. Big weekend for us. This weekend versus us. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting weekend. Trevor checking in saying 21-20. I was in the Berg in 2012 for the game which they lost. Wow, check that out. Sam. Oh, there. Yes, there's one. Sam. I forgot about Sam Shields. That's a great pull. Forgot about Sam Shields. He's another one, but there was another guy. For Green Bay too. I think he was still playing last year, if I'm not mistaken. 35 years old, 36 years old. I still think it was Tremont Williams. I think I'll have to look it up later, but that's why I still think that Joe Hayden can still ball. And let's not forget. That's not you. You know what? You definitely have a good point with Nelson and Hayden not being playing up to ability at certain points. But what I will tell you is, who do they have to cover? Right? Travis Fogel, John Hightower, Greg Ward. I mean, these guys aren't really setting the world on fire as well. So, I think Travis Fogel he intrigues me a little bit. I seen some good things. I went back and watched the game film, and you watch some of the routes that he was running. He actually didn't look bad. So they might have had a little fine there as a guy to actually be serviceable for them. And Zach Ertz isn't getting to play because he's being held in the block because Dallas Goedert was the better blocker. And now, unfortunately, Dallas Goedert is hurt. So now you need Zach Ertz to block, which is opening things up for Richard Rodgers, who we never thought would have happened, right? So many different scenarios that are happening in this game. I don't see it being a big scoring game. I don't. I see this game being something like 23-14, maybe. I have a hard time. Andre had a great score. He checked in again. There you go. 18-12. Andre checked in last on Tuesday on the live show. He's holding at 18-12, man. He's holding at 18-12. Again, he's right. Historically, they're wild. I mean, look at that game last night, 20-19. Who would have predicted a 20-19 score between Tampa Bay and Chicago? I thought Tampa Bay was going to roll all over them. I mean, I took every over possible when it comes to offensive firepower, before fantasy when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and nothing happened. Nothing, which was very odd to me. Very, very odd. But hey, they always say the line tells you something. That line on that game dropped from like 6.5 down to like 3.5, like right before maybe a couple hours for game time, which was kind of telling you something. It's kind of odd. I'll tell you what. To see how those prognosticators out there, those analysts, when we talk about sports betting, how they get those marks right a lot of times with the point spreads is amazing to me, man. That is one hell of a talent, man. I'll stick to fantasy though, and I'll stick to a little bit, but not like that. By the way, Eagles haven't won in Pittsburgh. Wow, Trev, good pull. I didn't know that. That's a big stat. The Eagles haven't won in Pittsburgh in 20 years, man. That's crazy. He says the year 2000 at Three Rivers. Wow. Think about Three Rivers Stadium, man. Now you're going back. Three Rivers Stadium. I mean, God. You think about that. You're going back to the Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, Sid Bream days, man. Talking about that, man. Jeez. They played at Three Rivers, for Christ's sake. So that's interesting. Good pull by you, Trev. I did not know that. So that could go either way, right? That could be like, are the Eagles due, or will they just fall into the trend? So it's going to be interesting. I just, I still say this. A couple minutes left. We'll go 40. We got about 1:20 left. Eagles scored touchdown, 3 field goals, and a safety. I could definitely see that 100%. The safety will be interesting. I can see the safety as long as, like I said, Andre, Fletcher's got to show up, man. Fletcher's got to take this game over. This has to be a Fletcher Cox game. I'm sorry. They have to get that push up the middle. They have to. They have to disrupt that run game with James Conner, and they have to stop the 5 to 7 second drops from Ben Roethlisberger, the amount of time he has to just serve it field, that has to stop. Especially over and unders. Yeah, Mike's talking about the betting aspect, especially over and unders on the NBA. To see scores come within 1 or 2 points, I'll tell you, man. Listen. It's no joke when dudes got like 8 monitors in their basement, right? I mean, exactly. I mean, when you see a guy sitting there, they're doing some work, man. My hat, my hat goes off to every single one of those guys. That has got to be a hard job, but they probably have their system, right? They have their analytics behind them, they have their formulas, and they go with it. And that's why they are who they are. Famous game. Trevor checks in. Famous game where Dawkins hit the bus real good. Yeah, check that out. That's it's Jerome Bettis. That's Jerome Bettis. Yeah. No, Big Dawk was good for those big hits, man. I had to go. I'm gonna have to go back and YouTube that. I thank you. Trevor did send me the link for the YouTube thing about Bud Dupree, but I just can't get it up right now. But thank you, Trevor. I'm gonna watch that afterwards. I'll share it on the Heat Ratio Sports page. So go check that out, and you'll be able to watch it. Andre, when's Fletcher going to show up? I've been saying that. Don't know what's going on, man. Have no idea. You think Hargrave has any inside skill? Absolutely. You always rely on your ex players, right? You always rely, but this could be a big game for Hargrave as well. I mean, he's going home against a team that let him go. But again, Hargrave had to know Pittsburgh doesn't pay anybody. They just recycle talent, and they're so good at it, man. They draft well, they scout well, they sign well. Pittsburgh, for me, that's the team you emulate if you're a general manager. I'm always like, so many things can vary. NBA game yeah, exactly. So many things. So many quick turnovers. Just never know. Andre checks. Those guys are Wall Street guys. I'll tell you. I'll tell you, Andre, that is amazing to me. It is the way they come up with these formulas. But yeah, Wall Street guys for real. I don't know how you can stay on that floor looking at all those screens, or even sit in your office looking at all those screens. My eyes bug out looking at one screen all day. I don't know how you go look at 10. I have no idea. Right. Pittsburgh draft and recycle talent. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, Trev. That's exactly what I'm saying. They are phenomenal for that, right? They reign supreme when it comes to that. And receivers and linebackers, they just breathe them and they recycle them. You think about how much they've changed. Everybody thought when Plaxico, Burris, and Hines Ward were going to go, that we're never ever going to be able to reboot. And then comes Antonio Brown, right? Now comes Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson. Same thing with the linebackers. You go all the way back to Greg Lloyd days, man. They've always had the good linebackers. Even Kevin Green, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. Mike, inside pressure. Hopefully, you have Ben. Exactly. That's what we need to do. You need to flush Ben left and right. And that's why I hope that I'm with you, Mike. That pressure inside between the big three of Malik Jackson, Hargrove, and Cox needs to come up big, man. It needs to come up big. Antoine Randall L sucked with the Skins and back to Steelers. Good again. I forgot about Antoine Randall L. Man, he was awesome, man. He was awesome. And there's the thing. Antoine Randall L was the number 3 guy, bro. Was the number 3 guy on that team, right? Under Plaxico, Burris, Hines Ward. How crazy is that? Joey Porter leaving Pittsburgh, Miami. He stunk there. There's another one. Joey Porter, lot of talk. Got paid, stunk, right? People thought they were crazy letting go of Brown and Bell. Another one, right? They still win. But let's remember something about Pittsburgh. I'm a Mike Tomlin guy. Always be a Mike Tomlin guy. He's the guy who runs that ship out there, man. Comes from being a defensive backs coach in Arizona, and man, did they pick them as a winner in Mike Tomlin. Excuse me. At a time where everybody thought, oh my God, Bill Cowher, the legend, is gone. What are we going to do? Mike Tomlin comes in, changes the culture, so to speak, in the sense that he's more cocky and more confident, and he has players that are more upfront and center about things, especially about issues, which is great. And they really play for him, man. They love playing for Mike Tomlin. 2 best in their position. They didn't miss a beat. Absolutely. 100%. They just churn out running backs too. It's another good point. They just, no matter who the running back is, they just produce, man. Are you sure Minnesota, Trev? I swore Tomlin had a cup of coffee out there in Arizona, man. Maybe he came from Minnesota, but I think he was in Arizona before he went to Minnesota. But I'm pretty sure he had a cup of coffee out there in Arizona. Either way, that was a great find by the Pittsburgh Steelers. 100%. And he's not going anywhere. For all those people that were talking, if Pittsburgh loses, Tomlin's not going. The only way Mike Tomlin is leaving is if Mike Tomlin wants to leave. You mark my words. Mike Tomlin will not get fired. Okay, he will not get fired. The only way Mike Tomlin leaves is if Mike Tomlin leaves on his own. Mark my words, that man will always have a job as a head coach in Pittsburgh as long as he still wants to coach. But everybody, listen, it's score predictions. I like it. 31-28. He was in okay, it was Tampa. Okay. 18-12 by Andre. Interesting. I'm gonna go 23-14. We're gonna see what happens. But again, everybody enjoy this fantastic weekend. I think it's supposed to rain on the other end of Sunday night, afterwards, which is great. But Saturday's going to be a beautiful day. Get out, enjoy the weather. Everybody enjoy one another, enjoy the family, enjoy the company. Again, a couple things, like I said, Heat Ratio Sports. And again, where anybody out there that's looking for some fun things to do, check out the Statement Games. Go follow Statement Games, partnership that we're forming with the Heat Ratio. They do some fantastic stuff. Mikey V's checking in 17-13. Like that score as well. Statement Games, learning how to lose before you bet. You're going to see the Heat Ratio sponsored by them as well. We're going to do some things together. And then again, we have the Thrive Fantasy app. Go check them out. Use the promo code HEAT. Again, if you're doing any prop betting, check us out on there. Use that promo code so you can get a free $20 if you bet $20. So you're basically getting $20 for free if you deposit $20. So not a bad deal. Just make sure HEAT is the promo code. And Mike, have a great weekend as well. When you're back here again, we'll be back here live 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Check me out. We will be streaming live on the Fox Sports The Gambler page. As you know, I do all the fantasy stuff behind the scenes for Fox Sports The Gambler. You can hear me Monday to Friday. Check me out today. Again, 3:50-ish every single day. Have all my stars and stiffs aligned. I will doing my segment again on This Week in Football with Joe Torti and Pat Callahan, straight from Parks Casino. I'll be doing that from remote. Check me out there. And then again, 9:30 starting. You have all your stuff going fantasy football wide for that first half hour. Get your picks in. And again, Twitter, you guys know I'm always there. Ask me a question. Let's have a conversation. I'll be there all weekend. But again, fly Eagles fly. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and everybody have a fantastic weekend.